Hi everyone, it's James here. Welcome back to Squeeze Fan TV, the world's only daily Squeeze vlog. And today we're going to do another song of the day, and I put a poll up again, and this song won, hands down, 4 votes to 0. We're going to look at Piccadilly, the great album track which comes from East Side Story from 1981. This is one of the most well-loved Squeeze songs of all time. I was thinking it's amazing how this album is known as being Squeeze's, in a way, defining album. I mean, some people might say argy-bargy for that, but, you know, this is the one that they did with Costello. It was their most successful album commercially up to this point, but only 2 singles taken from it. You had, was it 3? Is That Love, which is not really a big hit. You had Tempted, which is a very famous song, got lots of radio play in America, but the chart positioning wasn't that great. And then you had Label With Love, which was a number 4 hit. And those were the only singles. I suppose 3 is reasonable, but there were several other songs on this record that I think should have been released as singles, and this is undoubtedly one of them. It was played in the set list for many years. It's made a return to the set list in more recent times. And, you know, but again, it's one of those songs that only hardened Squeeze fans will know. But it just seems so quintessentially, to use a pun, quintessentially Squeeze. And it seems to be related musically to lots of other songs which you might find on 45s and under. It's got that kind of quirky, sprightly, happy, poppy kind of quality to it. Essentially, the song tells the story of a night out, and it's full of some of Chris's most vivacious and inventive and just lovely wordplay. Really, I think on this album you could really hear that Elvis Costello was in the mix there somewhere. Chris was trying to impress Elvis a lot, I think, trying to raise his game lyrically, and this song has just got a wonderful lyrical storytelling side to it, and musically as well, it's fantastic. It's got that really tight little riff, you know, the dan, da, dan, da, dan. It's just so good. It's so crisp, so wonderfully done. Great little darting piano figure by Paul Carrack, and it has that wonderful shouty call and response thing at the end, you know, heart like a bottle. It's just it's very 1981 actually. It's got maybe shades of madness to it, or I don't know, just that kind of roistery kind of quality. You can imagine it going down well at the time in the gigs, you know, people pogoing up and down and just absolutely loving it. Let's do the lyric first, and then we'll look at what Chris and Glenn have to say about it in song by song. So here we go. She's not a picture above somebody's fire. She sits in a towel with a purple hair dryer. She waits to get even with me. She hooks up her cupcakes and puts on a jumper. Explains that she'll be late to a worrying mother. She meets me in Piccadilly. What a wonderful way to set the song up. It's like the first scene from a film, isn't it? I love that lyric about she hooks up her cupcakes. Only Chris could come up with something like that. So they get to Piccadilly. A begging folk singer stands tall by the entrance. His song relays worlds of most good intentions. A fiver, a 10p in his hat for collection. Strange lyric, that. His song relays worlds of most good intentions. Some of these lines sound like they were written really just to scan or to rhyme. I think Chris would do that sometimes. Then he starts to relay the conversation that he's having with his other half. She talks about office, she talks about dresses, she's seen one she fancies. Now, I always thought it was her smile is impressive. It says here her smile is impressing. Could be. So maybe I'll treat her someday. We queue among strangers and strange conversations, loves on the lips of all forms of engagements, all queuing to see tonight play. A man behind me talks to his young lady. He's happy that she is expecting his baby. His wife won't be pleased, but she's not been round lately. I love that. Now, I always thought it was the film was so dreadful we left in a hurry, which to me makes sense, but in this book it says the girl was so dreadful we left in a hurry. I'm not sure. I think film makes more sense there. What do you think? I'm going to go with film. The film was so dreadful we left in a hurry, escaped in the rain for an Indian curry at the candlelit Taj Mahal. My lips to a napkin, I called for a taxi. The invite of eyes made it tense but relaxed me. My mind took a devious... Now, I always thought it was devious stroll. But here it says devious roll. Who knows? It sounds good anyway. The cab took us home through a night I'd not noticed. The neon club lights of adult films and Trini Lopez. My arm around her, but my acting was it says her best. I always thought it was hopeless. I always thought it was noticed, Trini Lopez and hopeless. I think hopeless is better. What a complete work of genius, rhyming Trini Lopez with hopeless. Or noticed, come to that. We crept like two thieves from the kettle to the fire. We kissed to the sound of the silence that we'd hired. Strange. Now captured, your love in my arms. A door opened slightly, a voice spoke in worry. Mum went to bed. And it says, without wind of the curry. I always thought it was Mum went to bed, but got wind of the curry. As in she heard them coming in. Our secret love made its advance. Like Adam and Eve, we took a bite on the apple. Loose change in my pocket started to rattle. Heart like a gun was just half of the battle. Brilliant. I love that. Heart like a gun was just half of the battle. So the idea is, heart like a gun, his heart is beating. He's excited, physically excited, but it's just half of the battle. In other words, it's that, it's the young man trying to prove his virility. All the stresses that can go with that. A work of lyrical genius. Chris says in Song by Song, it's from the same corner of the songbook as Separate Beds. I wouldn't have thought of that song. It was written on a napkin in the Rose and Crown pub next to the Greenwich Theatre. It's a storyboard song about characters who lived around my life at the time. And Glenn says the riff was plainly inspired by Another Nail. Interesting. I thought that it had worked before, so I might as well use it again. I guess it is quite similar, but it's more piano-y, isn't it? The Another Nail riff is quite guitar-y. Glenn says, this is a lovely song. It's brilliant because it's a whole story of an evening out. It's one of Chris's lyrics where I see exactly the same pictures in my mind whenever I hear it. I find it incredible you can write a lyric that gives such stunningly clear pictures in your mind like a radio play. A lot of Chris's lyrics would take you on a journey, and my job was to make it feel like a pleasant one. It's a nice summing up of their working relationship, isn't it? I do think it's a brilliant song because it really, I think it showed Difford and Tilbrook starting to really gel. It doesn't really sound like the work of two different songwriters. It sounds like it's come from the same mind, essentially. And just a very, very lovable tune, one that all Squeeze fans like. I can't imagine anyone out there who's a Squeeze fan who does not like this song. I just think it's absolutely fantastic, and it's a shame that it was never a single and is therefore not known to more people, really. But hopefully at some point it'll get back into the set list again. I know it's been in the set list in more recent times, and that's good news because it is fantastic. So there we go. Let me know what you think of Piccadilly, and if you leave a comment below, I will reply to it. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. That will help to make the channel more visible. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.